it's an honour to rise to debate Bill C-316, an act to amend the Department of Canadian Heritage Act Court Challenges Program. Now, Madam Speaker, you'll recall that I actually began this speech on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023, so I'm sure you, like all members, have been patiently waiting these last 6 months to hear the conclusion of my comments on this bill. Now, when I last spoke, I spoke about the great Conservative legacy when it comes to human rights, particularly that of the late, great John George Diefenbaker, who himself was a one-man court challenges program. Indeed, it was John Diefenbaker who said at the beginning of the debate on the Canadian Bill of Rights in 1960, quote, "Here for the first time, this bulwark of freedom will be embodied in a declaration by Parliament that is in existence and cannot be violated. Furthermore, if any of these several acts should be violated under legislation now existing in the courts in interpreting the particular laws or statutes which have been passed will hereafter be required to interpret those statutes of today in the light of the fact that wherever there is a violation of any of these declarations or freedoms, that statute in question is to that extent non-operative and will never intended to be so operative." Now, Madam Speaker, to the bill at hand. This bill has been mentioned, would require that the minister's power, would include that of the court challenges program. Now, in fact, Madam Speaker, this is already within the powers of the minister, and this program has been in existence since 1978 in different forms and fashions. And furthermore, the provisions for how the minister can fund the court challenges program already exists in the same existing statute at section 7.1. And it further talks about requiring for a report. But as members will know, reports are already presented by the Minister of Canadian Heritage, Minister of Official Languages, Minister of Housing, Diversity and Inclusion, Minister of Women and Gender Equality and Youth, and the Minister of Sport already provides such annual reports through the Departmental Results Report, Departmental Plans, and the Departmental Evaluation Plan. Now, Madam Speaker, I've got to say that we must look at the record of this Liberal government when it comes to the rights of Canadians, especially, let's start with language rights. We will recall that it was this Liberal government, I was on the Official Languages Committee at the time, when this Liberal government tried to appoint Madeleine Meilleur as an Officer of Parliament as the Official Languages Commissioner, a Liberal donor who donated the Prime Minister's campaign, a former Liberal cabinet minister, and they tried to make her the Official Languages Commissioner. Now, Madam Speaker, I was also on the Canadian Heritage Committee at a time that it was revealed that the department gave $133,000 to a well-known anti-Semite with a long history of directing hate towards Jewish people, and they did this through an anti-racism action program. And Madame la Présidente, récemment nous...
And Madam Speaker, recently, we learned that Radio-Canada used a pre-recorded recording to avoid the Quebec accent.
Proud of the language of Quebec. So we're proud of the accent that we hear of our Quebec colleagues across the country. We should be protecting that indeed. So, Madam Speaker, as I wrap up my 4 minutes of my speech, I wish to say how proud I am as a Conservative to stand on the human rights records that all Conservatives have stood on from the time of John Diefenbaker to the present day, and I'm very proud of that legacy. Thank you, Madam Speaker.